Hey, what's happening, hustlers? It's Afonso here with Afonso Analysis, and I just want to analyze some currencies, right? If you check here, this is DXY, it's a dollar index. I don't know how many currencies you guys trade, but for me personally, these are the only currencies that I trade. Now, this is done pretty deliberately because all these currencies are paired against the dollar. Now, the first thing that I do in the morning is to go to my DXY to weigh the strength of the dollar. I want to see what is the dollar doing currently. Is the dollar pushing to the upside or is the dollar pushing to the downside? Is the dollar strong or is the dollar weak? Because once I get the strength of the dollar, then it becomes pretty easy for me to read other currencies. For example, if we check here, every time the DX, well, not every time, but when the DXY is pushing to the upside, USD Swiss franc is also more likely to be pushing to the upside. If this USD Swiss franc is pushing to the downside, then the DXY is more likely to be doing the same thing, pushing to the downside, right? Same thing with the Euro USD, but with the Euro USD, they just negatively correlated with the DXY, which means whenever the Euro USD is pushing to the downside, that means the DXY is pushing to the upside, right? Like that. And when the DXY is pushing to the downside, Euro USD is more likely to be pushing to the upside. They just negatively correlated. So you just need to flip that. Whenever you're buying DXY, you know you are selling Euro USD. Same thing with GBP USD. Euro USD and GBP USD moves the same. Well, kind of the same, which means whenever Euro USD is pushing to the upside, GBP USD is more likely to be pushing to the upside too, like that. And when it's pushing to the downside, Euro USD is more likely to be pushing to the downside too. So these two moves the same, but my point is they all have something to do with the DXY. So I always start with my DXY to measure the strength. If the DXY is strong, if the dollar is strong, then I know that USD Swiss franc is strong, Euro USD is weak, GBP USD is weak, Australian dollar USD is weak, New Zealand dollar USD is weak. So let's analyze our markets, right? Because that's the first thing that I do. If you notice here, I'm trading the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame is really the best for anybody, really, whether you have a day job or you're a day trader or you're a scalper or whatever the case may be. I think you should start from the 4-hourly because it just gives you that nice edge on the market. The first thing that I do when I get into the market, I wanna see where's my highest high and where's my lowest low, because I wanna time the market. I want to see my range in the market, because this means if I'm buying today, this is my range for the day, and if I'm selling the market today, this is my range for the day. I can only sell the market up to here. Now, this doesn't mean the market won't push to the downside and break those lows there. It just simply means for me to take a safe trade, if I'm going to sell, then I need to at least break even before I can get there, or at least take profits off the market before I can get to these levels here, because the last time the market was there reacted with some bulls to the upside. So it's more likely that next time the market comes here, it's more likely that the buyers will still buy at this level, because this is the price they found cheap the last time. So it's more likely that when the price gets back here, they're more likely to buy more again, just to push the market to the upside again. So this is what I do when I get into the morning. I want to see my highest high and my lowest low, so just I can measure the market, right? So let's just analyze what's happening with the dollar here, right? We see that the dollar has been pushing to the downside, right? And today, since the opening of today it's a Monday, we are seeing some kind of a retracement. Now, for us to read clearly what's happening with this price action here, we need to move one time frame lower, which means it's the 1-hour time frame. Now, the 1-hour time frame tells me more information, because this means every candle here is an hour. So if you notice here, the market kind of found it hard to break to the downside when it got there to that level there, and then finally it broke to the downside, came back to retest it and failed again, pushing to the downside, and now we are back at that level again, and it looks like we are failing again. So if that candle closes as a doji or an indecision candle or just a big fat sell candle, then I'm going to be taking the sells, because this convinces me that the market is finding it hard to break that level there, so it's more likely to come to the downside than it is to push to the upside. But I won't be taking any trades until this candle closes here. I need to see this information here, because this candle can easily push to the upside and violate everything like that. Then I'll have to reanalyze, looking at the possibilities of me taking a buy, right? You never want to be the first in the market. You always want to let the market give you more information, because this candle is still open, right? It's a 1 hour candle. It's still open. I want to see what's going to happen there. If it gives me a doji, I'm going to wait for the second candle to give me some big fat sells to show me that there's some sellers in the market, so I can execute the trade. So that's what I'm planning to do on the DXY. And as we've already discussed, whatever is happening on the DXY, it's more likely to be happening on the USD Swiss franc, because they are directly positively correlated. Let's move to USD Swiss franc. Right, let me just clear all of that so we can analyze the market much better. Now USD Swiss franc is positively correlated to the DXY, right? So let's just see what's happening with this market here. We see that the market has been pushing to the upside. The first thing that I need to do when I get into the market is to mark my highest high and my lowest low, because I want to weigh the market and see where's my ranges. If I buy this market, that's going to be my range. If I sell this market, then this is going to be my range. Now, since I'm convinced that DXY is going to the downside, then it makes more sense for me to sell USD Swiss franc, right? Now let's dissect what's happening to the USD Swiss franc. It has been pushing to the upside, and then all of a sudden the market couldn't push to the upside anymore. We couldn't break these levels here, right? The market failed to break that level 3 times. Came, make our high here, failed to break it, and now it failed to break it again, and then pushed to the downside, right? And now we're at those levels there, and we know that the market found it hard to break to the downside there, and now we see some sellers in the market. Now granted, this candle pushed to the downside and the buyers took control, so we're still waiting for more information. If we move to 1 hour here, we can get more information about the market. So if you check here, the market pushed to the downside after failing to break this level for so long. It finally pushed to the downside, and now we are there to retest. Now what I'm expecting here is a big fat red candle to the downside, or the market can continue pushing to the upside just to test these levels here and collect more orders. If I can get some wick like that, then the next big fat candle, I expect it to be red. Then I can expect this one to be red. Then I can execute my sell, stop loss above structure, going for those levels there. Now this is in line with what the DXY is doing. You see that the DXY is giving me some rates, because that's what I want to see. I want to see if there's some sellers in the market before I can take that trade. So this just makes my analysis really easy, because now I know that, okay, since I'm selling DXY, I'm more likely to be selling USD Swiss franc, and I'm more likely to be buying Euro USD. Now notice we haven't checked the Euro USD. We've only analyzed these two, DXY and USD Swiss franc. When we get to the Euro USD again, flip to 4 hours, and we want to find out what? You've guessed it, our highest high and our lowest low. Okay, hang on. Highest high there and our lowest low. Now this gives us our range, that okay, this is our range if we're buying today, and this is going to be our range if we are selling the market. Now common sense dictates that since we are selling DXY and USD Swiss franc, we should be buying the Euro USD. Let's see if the evidence suggests that, right? Let's just move that so we can have a bird's eye view, so we can see what's really happening with the Euro USD. Now pushed exhaust pushed, breaking the previous highs, exhaust, and pushed again, but now we couldn't reach the highest high. And we're expected, if we're going to be continue this push exhaust, we expect the market to push again, breaking the previous high, so it can exhaust and continue pushing like that to the upside. So this makes sense in terms of a buy, since our DXY and USD Swiss franc tells us that we must be selling. All right, so this means our Euro USD, we are looking for a buy, and this makes sense because the market has been pushing to the upside. All right, now personally I would expect the market to retest a bit, maybe come back to these levels here before I can execute that buy, just so I can increase my range here. But if I get a bull's candle there, if that candle closes as a buy like that, then I'm more likely to be buying the market, right? Because that will convince me that there are still more buyers in the market. But yeah, that is what I'm looking for on the Euro USD. I'm also looking to buy the market there. But don't worry, traders, I'll be updating you as the day goes on. We just have to move to the next pair, which is GBP USD. Now, as I've already explained, GBP USD moves the same with the Euro USD. So if I'm buying Euro USD, then I'm definitely buying GBP USD. This is just my notes from last night, just what I was expecting, because the DXY is weak. It's printing some sells, right? As we've already discussed, that we might be selling the DXY. So this just convinces me that GBP USD, as it's pushing to the upside, it's more likely to continue with that push. Now I'm expecting a bit of retest here, so I can just find a place to place my stop loss, because currently if you check there, that is the candle that I'm looking at. So if I'm going to be placing my stop loss, it's going to be there, my entry there. It's kind of a stretch. I'm sure I can find it's gonna be on the positive side, maybe 1.5, but I like my 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. So I expect this to retest also, much like I expect on the Euro USD. I expect a retest here, a reaction on this level, so I can buy the market back to the upside. So that's what I'm expecting on the GBP USD. I'm expecting to buy it as I'm expecting to buy Euro USD, right? Let's just put that there so that we don't forget. Expect it to come back and retest, so we can get a closer stop loss there and a much higher reward. But we're going to see how that plays out, traders. I'm going to update you as the day goes by. Let's go to Australian dollar USD. Now, before we check Australian dollar USD, if you can guess where the Australian dollar USD, would you say we are buying the Australian dollar USD or selling the Australian dollar USD? Keeping in mind that the DXY affects these currencies. So if the dollar is strong, then Australian dollar USD is going to be weak. But if the dollar is weak, Australian dollar USD is going to be strong. Now let's go back to the dollar again to see what's happening with the dollar. It's weak. We are selling the dollar. Let's go to Australian dollar. That means we are more likely to be buying the Australian dollar. Let's analyze and see if that's what we are getting in the market. Again, these are my last night's analysis, but I really want to show you guys my thought process when I am in the market. So let's just cancel all of that. Okay, even though we don't need to cancel that, to be honest with you. Here I was just marking my highest high, but to be honest with you, I always move these lines to my recent high, the recent highest high. So if you look here, if we're selling the market, this will be my range. Let's cancel that one. If we are selling the market, this will be my range to the downside. Let me just highlight it. This will be my range to the downside. And if I'm buying this market, this will be my range to the upside. And since we are selling the DXY, I'm more likely to be selling the Australian dollar USD. I'm more likely to be buying it. I mean, now, does this mean I'm just going to be blindly buying it? Well, of course not. I need to see some price action. I need to see what's going to happen before I can buy this market. Now, personally, also I expect this market to come back and retest the zones here before we can push to the upside. But we're going to see what's happening with the Australian dollar USD. But looking at the weakness of a dollar, then I'm looking to buy that. Now, if the dollar changes that behavior, if the dollar starts breaking structure, pushing to the upside, and then definitely I'll be changing my bias for all these currencies here, right? That's just kind of makes my analysis really simple, because now I know I just need to look at the strength of a dollar and I can just kind of guess where the other ones are going. Well, not really guess, but with more evidence I can see where the other ones are going. Now with the Australian dollar USD, to be honest with you, just kind of stuck on this range here. I don't know what it's doing, but I expect it to push to the upside, even break this, going to the previous highs in the market there. But we'll see what's happening with the Australian dollar USD. But that is what I expect it to retest a bit so I can buy the market to the upside. Now again, if the dollar changes its behavior, guys, then we'll have to reanalyze this market here, right? But that's what I expect of the Australian dollar USD. Same thing with the New Zealand dollar USD. Really, I'm sure you can already guess that it's also more likely to be pushing to the upside. Well, we've only been seeing selling. We've only been seeing sellers on the New Zealand dollar USD, but let's just cancel everything and just dissect the market together. Yeah, let's cancel that, delete that, delete that. Let's get into the market and see what's happening right now. First thing is first, when we get into the market, we want to identify what? Our highest high and our lowest low, just to find our range, right? This is our range. If the market pushes to the downside, this is our range, and if it pushes to the upside, this is our range. So what are we going to do? We are more likely to be buying the New Zealand dollar USD because all the other currencies, because the DXY is weak. Let me just say that we are more likely to be buying the New Zealand dollar USD because the dollar is weak, so the New Zealand dollar is more likely to be pushing to the upside. But that is not enough information. We need more information. Let's look into this thing closer. So the market gave us a double bottom here on these levels here. Market pushed. Let me show you that. We got this double bottom. Then the market pushed, violating these structures here, right? Pushed, violating the structure. We got a bit of a doji there, of which if you were in the market, if you know how we trade, then we could have taken that, you know, could have taken that to the upside and benefited. 1 to 2, we could have hit our 1 to 2 there really easily, but we didn't get that trade, and there's no use thinking back. Right now the point is the market is back to these levels here. It's back to that level there where it reacted in the past, and I do expect it to react again, pushing to the upside. Now this will make sense given that the dollar is weak, right? Given that the dollar will continue pushing to the downside, then the New Zealand dollar USD, I expect it to bounce there, give me some sort of a doji or react like that, or some bulls in the market, a big fat green candle, then I can take the buy, pushing the market to the upside. You know, I'll have to be worried about this level here, so I'm going to take some profits off the market. I'm glad it's way over 1 to 1, but I'm going to take some of the profits off the market here, but definitely my final take profit will be there. But we'll see how it goes, guys. Well, I'll just update you as the day goes, but this is just how I look at the market. Really, I look at the DXY first, see the strength of the market, then I can gauge what the other ones are doing. It's really such a simple trick, but it has helped me a lot because I lost a lot of money in trading, guys, and I felt like it's simple things like this that could have helped me save a lot of money, right? So I'm really glad to be sharing this information with you guys. If you really find it helpful, make sure to give me a like, man, because it really helps the channel. And also just pose any questions that you might have, or any video that you would want to see me make. Just make sure you leave your comments in the description, guys. I'm really here to serve. See you in a bit.